Lucky ones, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'll be sharing you guys all the secrets and techniques that these pro players are doing to have extra aim assist and to basically break the whole setting. Yes, you guys hear me right. I'll be going step by step on exactly what you guys are gonna start doing and how to start doing it. And it's very simple. And all the mouse and keyboard players, please don't get mad at me. And I'm gonna kind of stir the pot a little bit right now in the comment section below. Let me know, who do you think are better, mouse and keyboard players or controller players when it comes to Warzone? Let me know in the comment section below and let me know why. And if you enjoyed the video, and only if you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe here if you guys are new with those push notifications on, so you guys know every single time I upload a video. I promise you guys, we got more tutorials coming in, more high kill gameplay coming in for you guys, and we want to get you guys the best possible. And I don't want you guys to miss an upload, okay? So make sure you guys just subscribe and make sure you guys share this video with that one friend. Just share with that mouse and keyboard friend who hates controller players. Is it Cloaksy? I don't know. Share with them and let me know what they say. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out. So the first thing I want to talk about is aim assist at a distance. If you guys don't know, there's certain types of aim assist you guys work with, and I'll go through the settings a little bit later. But right now I want to focus on how much aim assist starts to help out and visually see where that line starts to pick up. So what I'm gonna do is, with my character in front of me, I'm gonna go ahead and look from right to left at my 1414 sensitivity, and as I look all the way to the left hand side, I'm gonna start drawing a line when that starts to begin to slow down. So from here at a constant speed, do it one more time. Now, with that line drawn, we can actually see where aim assist starts to pick up. And if you guys haven't guessed it already or just saw, aim assist will help and kick in before you even have your crosshairs on the opponent. In fact, aim assist will start to pick up on your outer crosshair when you guys start standing up, just a few seconds right before it hits your target. And that's an easy way to kind of tell where a character might be. But the next thing I want to look at is aim assist maybe stepped a couple feet back. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look right to left and see exactly when that aim assist will start to slow down. Now, you guys can see aim assist will start to slow down no matter what distance you are at once your outer ring crosshair crosses over that player, and will turn off once the farther right or farther left crosshair gets out of that player's provisional. So by doing that, you can maybe use that to your advantage. And although it might seem aim assist is greater at distance, it only feels that way because your target is smaller. The aim assist is still at the same length, if you guys can see, both compared to both lines. And as you can visually see between the outer ring of the crosshair, as soon as a player or an enemy crosses in with that, it will begin to pull, and then once it slows down a little bit is when you're actually exiting the crosshair. So maybe you can visually see now when aim assist will pick up, and you can play it that way. Now the next thing I want to talk about is actually aim assist through walls. Now, as a controller player, I can say this, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. I'm gonna show you guys a clear example of it now. But there are times where you might be running around the map and you just get a tug on your controller, and it feels like there's a player in front of you, but at the end of the day, it's only a wall, and you might not be going crazy. There might be a player on the other side. You actually hear a lot of pro players say that it's like, oh, I got aim assist over here, I got aim assist on this wall. And what happens is aim assist will sometimes glitch, and we'll be able to kind of feel a tug towards a enemy on the other side of a wall, other side of a pillar, and aim assist will kick in even if we don't visually see him. Now, that's all I think that has to do with the map and how the map is made, not actually the controller. But with that in mind, you use that to your advantage. So I'll show you guys what it actually means, though, and we'll talk about that in a few seconds of what aim assist through walls look. So here's our aim assist on the player, and as we go over, it begins to continuously pull, but not as great. Now, that's with a strafing technique, right? If you ADSing, is something we'll talk about a little bit better that'll help you out with the tracking. And it all depends on certain positions and at where you're at on the wall. Because although we feel an aim assist on that pole, we might not see it. Actually, we just got it for a second right there. Okay, so as I'm walking, right? This is me just going to the left. You can start to see it pull a little bit. And although, right, although it isn't the greatest aim assist, it is enough to get us that information and enough for us to, you know, take that fight or to get that information and use that to approach that fight. And so hopefully that helps you guys out in that technique. It's a technique that's very situational based, but it's something to keep in the back of your head as you're running around the map. If you get a weird tug, call out to your teammates like, hey, I think there's someone over here, aim assist started pulling, and then play it out that way. We're going to be talking about a lot of the pros with aim assist and different techniques on how to really kind of abuse that, but there are some cons to it. And the fact is that controller players will lose aim assist, and a lot of the time it's actually in the middle of a fight, or it could be randomly, you know, when you're strafing or you're about to take a shot and your aim assist decides to just turn off. Well, the first step in actually regaining that aim assist is to really realize when you lose it. Now, it's very situational based, but I can tell you guys straight up, when you guys start to lose aim assist will sometimes be in the middle of a fight when there's a pole that crosses. If you're fighting in a tunnel like the ones you see in Superstore, the little you know, cabinet areas, and anytime a branch or something that's a lot smaller but is on the map crosses your crosshairs, that is when you'll start to lose aim assist. Another place is actually the staircase. Now, when you lose aim assist, there's two options. Either option A, you continuously fire and just try to win the gunfight without having any aim assist, but if you're going up a player who does, or a player who's on mouse and keyboard, you're more or less going to lose that fight unless you are a god. And that's not because of how helpful aim assist is, but the fact that it's turning off in the middle of a fight can throw off a player. But there's step number 2. Now, in the middle of a fight, if you're like this and you lose aim assist, right? And I turned off aim assist for this example. The best way to counter this is to simply on ADS. Now, you have a lot of ADS when you have your crosshairs down. Let's go ahead and show you guys. Right? So there's aim assist. But if for some reason I lose this, right, and I can't find it, the best way to regain your aim assist is to simply on ADS. And let the strafing pick back that player, and once it recognizes that player as an enemy and the aim assist kicks back in, you go back into fighting. So here I am, right? Let's just say I lose aim assist, can't find it. Quickly go into the hip fire and then go back to shooting. Now on your screen it might look a little bit snappy, but that's kind of how it looks like in slow motion. Again, this is me ADSing, I lose aim assist, crosshairs, boom, and it kind of looks again, snappy. A more of a mouse keyboard player, depending on your sensitivity, might look a little bit faster, a little bit slower, but you will easily regain aim assist because you're now going from your ADS aim assist to your hipfire strafing ADS. So it kind of resets and you're able to pick that back up. Again, a technique I highly recommend picking down and, you know, putting that, you know, in your rotation of how you're playing the game, because it's going to help you guys out a lot. So like I mentioned before, there's two types of aim assist. There's the aim assist where you're not ADSing, and then there's the aim assist when you are. Now, although there are different settings to this, let's go ahead and go over them real quick, and I'll break this down towards the end of the video. But with standard aim assist, there's actually a horizontal pull to it towards that actual character, and you're able to kind of, your whole body begins to shift towards the enemy, which again is really helpful, and I'll explain why towards the end of the video. And then there's precision, which actually doesn't have it. And although you still have that aim assist, it's not going to pull your character's body left or right, but it will still give you that assist you need. But using that to your advantage on standard, when you're approaching a gunfight, unless you're going for a slow peek, and that basically a slow peek is something like this, where you're already ADSing and you're looking for the character, and then you start shooting, there should be a reason, there should be no reason other than a slow peek where you're ADSing before you take that gunfight. Your centering should be on point first. It is centering and then your ADS, and the reason for that is your aim assist will be great. So if I'm turning this corner, right, and I see this player, my centered dot is already on that player, and you can see how great that pull is. Now when I ADS, I'm already on his chest, and then I could go for the headshots if I wanted to, or I could go for the body shots if I wanted to, but my crosshairs are already on that player, and that's that aim assist that's going to help me out there. Rather than me ADSing, there's a higher chance you're going to lose that assist. And let's go ahead and compare, right, how small your crosshairs are, and if especially running the red dot or the T-post, it is where you'll lose that aim assist versus having your whole crosshairs to work with. And then using technique I showed you guys on number 1, where those crosshairs can help you guys out, where aim assist starts to slow down once the character is starting to be in that POV, you're able to more or less use it to the full advantage. So again, going in for the hip fire unless you're going for a slow peek, tracking, once you're tracked, go for the ADS and then start aiming for the head. So again, using technique number 1 into this technique is going to be super, super helpful. So next thing I want to talk about is the sensitivity. Does that affect your aim assist in any way, shape, or form? So right now I'm on 1414 sensitivity, and I'm going to use this to full max. So I'm going to go over here. And although we're going to slow it down, and I want a line drawn when aim assist starts to slow down just for that second. And we're going to have that line drawn on the side of the screen. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and put 6.6. Well, yeah. The 6.6 is pretty standard. We'll do the same thing. And to our max, we'll have both lines drawn on the screen. Now, with those two lines drawn, you guys can compare that. Like I mentioned before, aim assist will start to pull once you're in that crosshair of that player. It doesn't matter too much on the sensitivity you're playing. Yes and no, because playing on high sensitivity, it is a lot harder to target your enemy, and then go in for the ADS and then start going in for the kill. And then on slower sensitivity, it's a lot easier to track your players. So in the sense of tracking, yes, I do think playing on a slower sensitivity is easier. However, playing on that higher sensitivity lets you take those fights amongst multiple players, 1, 2, 3, and 4, a lot easier. Now, can you still do that on 6.6? Yes, you can. And it all comes down to a preference of gaming. For me, I played on 6.6. I've dropped 40s and 50s on 6.6, and now I'm playing 14.14. For me, I noticed I could do the both things I've done on 6.6 or 14.14. It just, I've played the game so much that I want to, you know, challenge myself to learn a different technique and learn a new sensitivity and see if I'm still able to master it like I did once at 6.6. So if you play on a high sensitivity, that is fine, but please keep in mind your tracking must be on point for it. It is a lot harder to do, and I would make sure you guys have the appropriate settings for it. But aim assist is still there. You guys still have the same amount of pull, but your tracking is going to be a little bit more difficult. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, and we're finally getting to the point where we're talking about these settings for aim assist. Now, I brought it up a couple times, right? And I'm not going to go over and break down anything else in terms of like, oh, here's what my controller sensitivity, all that stuff is, because we've done that already. We're not going to go over the graphics or audio, but there are different types of aim response curve types and aim assist. So we'll talk about aim assist first, and we'll break it down. Disabled, meaning you have no aim assist at all. Standard, traditional aim assist, aim slow down near target, which I mentioned before is a strafing. We'll actually look at it visually. Precision, strong aim slow down that only kicks in when aiming at closer to a target, best for accurate players. Now we're going on to focusing. Strong ADS that also kicks in narrowing missing target, best for players new to analog aiming. So in basic terms, what these settings are kind of trying to tell you guys, the standard is what everyone pretty much uses. Precision is if you're a little bit more of an experienced player for the long distance fights, and then focusing is something that's going to aid you guys at all times. So with those things in mind, breaking all them down and using all of them at a time or two, standard is going to be the aim assist you want, and that's because of the simple one reason: the aim assist that pulls when you are horizontal and when you're strafing. Because how many times have I broken down in a recoil video the importance of strafing in the middle of a fight to reduce the horizontal recoil? And practice what I preach. I want you guys to be the best player as possible, and I think standard is going to be the setting to use, especially with all the techniques I'm going to be showing you guys in the future on how to improve as a player. It's going to be important. So here we go. Here's what it is as I'm strafing, and again, this is also at a distance. Okay, and this is actually one of those things that is a lot more of a heavier pull at a distance, because when you get closer, okay, your crosshairs, because your aim assist is so pull once that player enters the crosshairs, will disappear a lot sooner. And the reason for that is because obviously you're closer and just distance you have between the player. Now, when I throw on precision, well, even focusing, because I've already showed you guys precision, we get none of that. All right, we get no help with our strafing whatsoever. And if strafing is a technique I want to continuously show you guys and use to better your guys' sense in terms of recoil control, your movement, you guys should be using standard, because it's going to help out with your aim at all times. So next thing we're going to look at is the aim response curve type. Now I'm going to actually use Fortnite as an example here. When Fortnite was just popping and just came out, there wasn't a lot of settings to it for builders. In fact, as the game progressed, more settings started to come out. However, the traditional standard or builder custom pro was kind of what players were always using, and not kind of ignoring everything else. And that's kind of, I think, the route Warzone's trying to take, so that every player can find their specific play style and go for. However, standard will always be something that caters to everybody, and that's the same thing with the aim response curve type as it is with the aim assist type. So let's go over what they three are. Simple power curve map from aim stick to aim rate. Linear, which is aim stick maps directly to aim rate, and then finally dynamic reverse S curve type, mapping for fine aim rate controlling. So things get more specific as you guys begin to change those settings, but I guarantee you standard, especially if you pair it with aim assist, are going to be your way to go. And it's also something that's been used throughout all Call of Duties. You don't want to continuously change playstyle. I know a lot of people will start to get frustrated, or they're not having the best day, so they change their sensitivity, they change their go-to class, they start changing all their settings, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, we're all going to have bad games. It's okay. And the idea is to just stick to your roots and continuously push through it, because you're going to have better days and games are going to go by a lot better. Don't try to change everything you guys have going on. So that's it for the aim assist video, guys. Hopefully I shared with you guys a lot of the secrets and techniques that you guys can start using when you guys start playing Warzone or Rebirth Island. And at the end of the day, if you're a mouse and keyboard player watching this, or a controller player that hates controller players, we're just dealing the cards we're dealt with. We're trying to improve as much as possible, but also, you know, use what we have to our advantage. And I want you guys, the controller players, to start using your aim assist to its full effect. Use it, because until they fix it, this can help you guys drop a PR. This can help you guys get higher kills, help you guys improve as a player, whatever it may be. And if you guys like these style videos, man, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And I think I want to add a tracking style video, how to track a little bit better. I thought of that idea when I was, you know, showing you guys different techniques with the whole aim assist thing. But let me know if you guys want to learn a little bit more on tracking and how to improve your guys' aim. But enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.